Hi everyone, I'm Mary, food blogger behind GoodyGodmother.com, and I am here today to share with you how to make an American flag ruffle cake. So we are going to decorate our cake dummy, since this is just a decorating technique video. So a cake dummy is a styrofoam cake. This one is 8 inches around, and you can use it to practice your decorating. It's a really good tool if you want to improve your decorating skills. So today I am using my vanilla crusting buttercream, all butter. The recipe is on my website, and I'm using it in a royal blue, like a faded royal blue denim color, a reddish color, like a light red, and then a white. This isn't a true white because it is made with all butter, but it's white enough for most applications. And I personally prefer an all butter buttercream because I don't like to use a lot of shortening. So we're going to start by just taking, this is a small offset spatula, and I'm just going to take this and spread my spread a base layer on my cake. It's not holding very still, but we'll do the best we can. I attached the cake to the board using just some additional buttercream icing, as I would if this were a real cake, but it looks like that wasn't enough. Real cakes definitely have weight, and this cake does not. So it looks like that wasn't enough to anchor this cake, but that's okay. Anyway, so if you were making this with a real cake, what you would do right now is you'd apply a very thin layer of your buttercream. You would actually be able to see bits of the cake through the buttercream, and that's just to create your crumb coat. And then you would chill it very well so that it holds before you add the ruffles and the final layer of the cake. So this is kind of the equivalent to a crumb coat, but I'm not really worried about crumbs, so we are probably not going to stop for the chilling. So as you can see, I'm not too worried about smoothing this out just yet, just kind of getting it all on the sides. And this cake is really cute and easy. It was actually inspired by some burlap and bunting that I saw recently while we were out running errands, and I thought this would be such a cute idea translated onto a cake. So here we are. And because of the ruffles along the bottom of the cake, I actually like to use a cake board that is slightly larger than my cake. It makes it easier to move the cake from my turntable to a serving plate without having to really chill it. You know what? We're going to improvise a little bit, and we're going to hold this cake still. I have a skewer. I'm just going to all the way through my cake board. Ta-da! So as you can see, I have a nice thick layer of frosting all along the sides of my cake. So now what I need to do is smooth all of this out and bring it up to frost the top of the cake. I have my bench scraper, probably one of my favorite and most practical decorating tools. So I'm going to keep my elbow close to the side of my body, hold the bench scraper along the cake board, and just pull. I'm actually going to do this in sections right now. All right, and now my bench scraper is getting full. I was keeping the rotation and just pulled it straight off the cake. So you can sort of see right here where that transition was made. Wipe this off. Just on my bowl, clean bench scraper. And then I'm going to lay it against the cake again. And carefully turn. There we go. All right. And you can see I didn't apply my buttercream perfectly evenly. There are some gaps here. We're going to go back and fill that in. Although, as you will see with this particular cake design, any parts that are imperfect towards the bottom of the cake are actually going to be covered by the ruffle embellishments. This is the bad thing about cake dummies. They are really light. But they are great to create showpiece cakes. So right now all I'm doing is just kind of lightly running my bench scraper all the way around, trying to get rid of any lines or bumps. All right. And now you can see where I need to fill in a bit right here along the edges. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So again, place my bench scraper here along the side of the cake. And try to keep rotation as even as possible without my hand moving away from my body. When I've made it all the way around the cake, just pull off. See? Nice even sides. Right there where I can see color, see a little bit of white. Actually, that patched pretty nicely, so that's good. All right, so now we're going to frost the top. And to frost the top of the cake, we're going to start by pulling in the lip that was created by this edge. So we're just going to take our offset spatula and pull right in. And you will end up on a crumb coated cake, you will end up with a little bit more of a lip. And you'll see there's a lip forming over the edge of the cake. That's fine. We're going to go ahead and fix that. So you'll have a nice sharp edge at the top of your cake. It really helps even a homemade cake look far more professional if you can just spend a little time focusing on the edges. It's the tiny little details that make a big difference. Crumb coating is definitely one of the biggest details that help the cake look professional, because when you don't see any crumbs through the top of the cake, it just looks nicer and it doesn't interfere with any of your embellishments. So because we have this skewer here, I'm just going to kind of work around the skewer. I need to have the skewer in place just for one more round to remove that little lip that formed after I added the frosting at the top of the cake. So again, my sides are already even, so I don't want to trim any more off the sides. You actually then risk messing up the sides of your cake. So I'm just going to kind of hold it even. I shouldn't end up with a lot of frosting here. So just hold it even. And turn as carefully as you can. Yeah, perfect. So you see I ended up with the frosting that was right at the top of the cake, but I don't have a lip except in this one spot. All right, perfect. Now we're just going to pull in. Again, make sure your spatula is nice and clean. And I know I said that I wasn't going to stop and chill this cake, but I've decided that I'm going to, because I really do want this tutorial to follow as closely as possible to how you would decorate were this a real cake and not just a dummy. So let's go ahead and take a quick break. I'm going to take about 20 minutes, and I am going to put my cake in the fridge to chill and let the frosting form a bit of a crust. And then actually I'm going to show you a really easy trick to getting perfectly smooth frosting out of a buttercream cake. See you in a bit. Okay, so now our cake has chilled, and we're gonna go ahead and see, the buttercream is crusted, nothing on my hands. So we're gonna go ahead and smooth it out a little bit. Just to make it like perfect. When you see those cakes that are buttercream and they look like they are fondant covered and they're perfectly smooth, chances are that the decorator has used something called the Viva paper towel method. And it's called the Viva paper towel method because Viva brand paper towels don't have a design on them. This is not a Viva paper towel, so you can see it has little indentations. So those little indentations will transfer slightly to the cake, but I really want to illustrate this method for you in case you think you can't create a perfectly smooth buttercream cake, because you really can. So what you do with this, it's very easy to create the smooth sides, so we're not like super worried about that. But basically you just take the paper towel and you just kind of rub along the sides after the buttercream has crusted, and it helps to smooth out any lumps and bumps. And this is why it's important to use a paper towel that doesn't have a design on it, because there's a tiny bit of a pattern transfer that's happening here, but it's not really a big deal for this cake, so I'm not really worried about it. So the nice thing about buttercream is that it has a little bit of give, and the crusting buttercream has obviously created a bit of a crust, and so you can sort of press it into place a little bit. And as you can see, this is exactly what I'm doing. And just the heat of your hand is good. You need to do this with a chilled cake, of course. This doesn't, it's just easier. And it doesn't work very well unless if the buttercream hasn't fully set. So and now, as you see, I got a little bit of frosting on my paper towel, so we're just going to move on to the clean section of paper towel. That would be Dolce warning me that there's a bird outside. And I think we're good. Actually, I sort of like how this imprint turned out. It gives a bit of a denim type look to the cake, and with the color that we have for the frosting, I actually really like it. So if you want that denim type look on the cake, feel free to use a textured paper towel. So hooray. All right, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to add the ruffles at the bottom to finish off the cake. So to make these ruffles, I have a piping bag fitted with a Wilton 104. Fitted with a Wilton 104 tip. So as you can see, there is a wide end and there is a narrow end, and so you're going to want to keep the wide end closest to your cake and the narrow end out. This is going to create the best ruffles for you. Keep your elbow close to your side and angle the tip about 45 degrees. This will make your hand tired. And if your hand shakes a little, that is totally okay, because you're actually going to end up with some really cute ruffles out of it. So I'm starting a little bit above, maybe about a 1/4 inch from the cake, and then I'm just going to start moving my turntable slowly. It's actually a little easier if you don't overfill the bags like I did. So you start and just kind of keep working your way around the cake. This is great if you have an assistant that can help you. Turn the cake table slowly. But if you don't, you can also work in sections. The beauty of this particular design is that it's not supposed to be super perfect. It's actually perfect in its imperfection, which I really like for this aesthetic that we're going for. I think it's fun. I think it would look great on a table with like some burlap and some very like shabby chic country type patriotic decorations. So yeah, to get just the right filling on the in the bag, you should actually be able to hold the frosting pretty comfortably in your hand. You'll have to refill the bag a couple times depending on how many rows you choose to do, but it's definitely easier on your hands than what I'm doing right now. All right, so as you can see, we have the first ruffle down. Hooray! So now I'm gonna switch to my white and just test it real quick, because this is a crusting buttercream. Make sure it flows smoothly out of the tip. Again, fat side of your tip towards the cake, just barely touching. And then around we go. Keep it at a slight 45-degree angle. You can see with my hand shaking just a little bit, you end up with a neat little ruffle look going. So I'm going to go ahead and add a few more layers. How many layers you choose to add is completely up to you. And then we're going to add a cute little finishing touch. Okay, so I've decided that I am only planning to do 3 layers. You can feel free to add as many layers of ruffles as you would like. You could go all the way up the sides of the cake. You could do just like 2 or 3 big ruffles at the bottom. Whatever makes you happy, go with it. Instead, I am choosing to finish my cake with some cute little embellishments that I've cut out of white fondant. These are just little white stars. I have a small star cookie cutter, and I think I'm just going to place these around the cake, kind of at and you don't need to dampen these at all because of course you're applying them directly to the buttercream, so they will stick without an issue. And then we're going to add just a few on top. Make it look really cute and patriotic. And if you wanted to add a little shimmer to the cake, you could even add a tiny bit of luster dust to each of the stars in the Super Pearl, which is just like an iridescent white luster dust. I think that would look really nice too. And that's it. I hope you liked this tutorial for my shabby chic ruffle flag cake. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future tutorials. And please visit my website for the full blog post and another cute decorating technique that is completely different from this one, and some fun recipes. I hope that you enjoy, and please share pictures if you decide to make this cake. Thanks so much and happy baking!